couple nights ago, Tony shared this a man's journey, basically. A man's journey was pretty profound. And I can't, it baffles me like why they don't teach this stuff. And he's sharing this journey of a man's journey, man's life, his journey. I saw a lot of the men around me in my life, my dad, everybody around me. I saw where they either made it to or where they were stuck at. So I'll share something with you here. A man basically starts off as the page, called the page. And this is, everybody starts young, grows up, learns life, goes through life. That's a page, learning things, gaining experiences. And then he moves from the page to a knight, right? And then from a knight to a prince, and then from a prince to a what he calls the tunnel. The tunnel. The tunnel is where it's interesting. Every man will go through this. I remember my tunnel was back in 2019 after a really hard year, 2018, where after building this amazing life, building wealth for my family, working really hard as an entrepreneur for almost 14 years at that time, and end up making some really aggressive business decisions and losing $5 million. That was my tunnel. And knowing what the tunnel is, you go through this shift in your life, and you shift as a person, as a man, as a business owner, your career, all of that stuff. I started seeing that most men die in the tunnel. They never come out of the tunnel. Or even if something didn't happen to them, let's say they never made anything of themselves. They never launched that business that they've always wanted to. That's also a way of them. They might not have lost $5 million, but they didn't become, right? They didn't become who they were truly called to become or meant to become. So they die in the tunnel. They never make it out of the tunnel to the last stage, which is basically the king. So I was looking at all these stages of a man's life. And I look at my brother as one of them. As a matter of fact, my brother and my dad, but my brother never made it in the tunnel. He's stuck at Prince because he never went through his own, and he never stepped into anything. He just living an ordinary, comfortable, settled life. Never really attempted anything. He never risked. He was comfortable most of his life, all of his life. And I know that there's parts of him that wanted to do more, be more than what he is now. I know that for sure. We've had many conversations on this, but he never entered the tunnel. He never stepped into that transition from prince to king. I look at my dad, never made it to king as well. My dad was in the tunnel. He did a lot of things for us and for himself, but he never he did things for everyone but himself. So he went in the tunnel and he went to try to make something of himself, but he did it for us. But he never himself did things for himself. So it's really cool to kind of witness examples of men going through their journey. And the beauty of knowing that is knowing how the relationship between the masculine and feminine partners and you support each other. Then last night, he shared the women's journey as well, which is pretty amazing for the men to see their changes in their stage of life and their archetypes and their changes in women, especially when it comes to perimenopause and menopause, this stage of a woman's biochemistry changing in her body, and just knowing the other side, knowing the other this creature that you live with, that you're in life with, in business with, this human being, like just understanding them, knowing them better so that you can support each other. You can know exactly what they're going through and where they're at and things like that. And it's insane that statistically the women, when they hit that 42, 40, and the average woman's around 43 years old, that's when they get divorced. When they're going through the biggest change in their life during that perimenopause stage. I'm like, oh my God. And couples never make it right to the finish line, which is ultimately staying together, loving each other for the rest of their lives, committing to their vows, because there's so many changes in both the men and women's life, right, and what they're going through in their stages, and just understanding both the woman and the man. And we can know, like, oh my God, like we can support each other better. I'm like, why don't they teach this stuff? So it's so crazy. So crazy. So yeah, so that's one of the things, but man, one of the many things that were learned here. Yeah. So that's I'll celebrate sharing that with you guys and celebrating my wins here this week, learning about myself, learning about my stage of life and men, understanding other men in my life, and then definitely understanding my significant other, understanding what she's going through right now. She just turned 44. And yeah, a couple of years ago, she started going on this journey. I didn't know what was going on with her, what the shifts and changes in her own body and her own chemistry. And there's different personalities that come out. I'm like, God, this who are you? Sometimes this person comes out and I'm like, where is this monster? And what have you done, my beautiful wife? But understanding now, and it's not her. I'm like, what is this alien? I didn't know there was an alien in that body. You know what I mean? You're just, ugh. But now I understand down and laughing. So, yep. So I'm learning how to give my wife multiple personalities, names to all, some of these personalities. You're not Phyllis. That's definitely not Phyllis. That is from the God from the planet Mars or something like that. Just came out or whatever.
We just need to balance her hormones. We're hormone
Of course.
balance and
Of
experts
course.
for both men and women.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's all that. There's testosterone, there's the hormones, there's definitely that's why I asked you yesterday. I was so amazed by the information and both of you guys are in this health, this longevity and suffering. If that's really your thing, like we have to really, I think for both of you guys on this call, I think you really need to kind of niche down to figure out where in your space are you most comfortable. You don't have to do it all, you can, even though you can, you don't have to do it all. You can start somewhere, just like Tony. He didn't do business, he didn't do finances, he didn't do relationship, he didn't do spiritual till his later years of his journey. He started first on working on the person, right? Because he was his first client. He worked on himself first. He started the journey on himself first. He created the result and the transformation in himself first. So when he did that, he realized I can help other people, not just men, do this too. So if you wanted to call like his life, his journey, he started 40 some years ago first as a life coach, realistically, helping people transform in their life. And then he grew into business and finances. Why? Because he's taking the most, which kind of aligns with the message I'm talking to you guys about today, which aligns with he goes through this massive pain in all these areas. He goes through massive pain in his life, but he turns into an offer because he did the transformation. He lost the weight. He had the negative self-talk. He had all of these things, these stories. So he says, if I had them, that means other people have them. I should turn them into an offer and help people. And then he goes through several business mistakes and financial mistakes that cause him to potentially almost go bankrupt several times, people stealing money from him, building teams, hiring the wrong people, all that stuff. So he goes through that pain, that threshold of control. And he says, I can help other businesses. So he launches a business program. He goes through a financial pain. He turns that into a financial program. He goes into his transition of his own body and health, vitality, longevity, biohack, all that stuff. He turned that into his health program and wealth program as well. Then he goes through spirituality transformation in his own connection with God and spirituality. So he creates that program. And then obviously through the years of him and Sage Robbins been together 27 years now, they've gone through a lot as a couple and the success of their business, success of their life, everything. And then he says, man, these all my stages I went through as a man, her stages she goes through as a woman, her archetypes, all of these things, and his archetypes. So it turns into a relationship, which when he shared the men and women's journeys with us over this week, and I'm like, I was thinking about you guys about your own journeys, your own clients, and the people that you're called to serve, as well as your product, niching down to starting somewhere, not talking top of funnel, talking very broad, so you could build an audience that wants to live longer or they want to end suffering. You talk broad, but then we got to start talking about niching down and really speaking to a niche, not just an audience anymore, speaking to a niche and what is that niche? And then go to your bottom of funnel that you speak to the person, your ideal client. So he shared some studies yesterday that were pretty profound that we learned in that room. And everybody, when he's sharing it, everybody's shaking their head like, why is our world this way? Unfortunately, our world is money driven. It's being influenced by those who want to, unfortunately, keep you sick so that they can sell you. They want to keep you sick so they can sell you their pills and their drugs. Let's just call it what it is. It's drugs. Like they're legally printing money and they're telling us that drugs are bad, but then yet they're selling drugs. It's crazy. So on one hand, I'm looking at this war between our country and Venezuela, for example, that we're targeting these cartels that are selling drugs. And I'm like, gosh, big pharma is right there too. Why are we not bombing the shit out of big pharma as well? What is going on here? Why is that drugs and this not drugs? It's the same thing. What's going on here? And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And that's the people who wield the power right now is the people who's generating the most money, who's lobbying for a lot of this stuff. So as he's sharing this stuff, and I love the fact that Bobby Kennedy is there doing his thing. He's doing the best he can there in that role. He's doing a lot of amazing stuff coming out, a lot of amazing studies. But one of the things he talked about was hormone replacement therapy and how the unfortunate part is your endocrinologist, your OBYGN, and they're not going to be the ones who really specialize in that because they don't really know. They don't really know. They can't handle it. They're not trained to. So make sure that as you guys are going through this stage, as you're women, that you really talk to a specialist, people who actually know how to administer this, right, for you. So it was really amazing to encourage that because they went through their own 7-year journey as Sage was transitioning into perimenopause to menopause, and the unfortunate part is administered wrong or prescribed the wrong drugs. And from people who are untrained in this space can really hurt women. And the unfortunate part is there have been a lot of women who have been hurt and died from this tough transition. And there's things that you could actually do with it. So make sure that you look into that. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Francis has a lot to do with this, which kind of that's why I asked you that question, Francis. I'm like, there's a huge market here. There's a huge market. Like what? Let's stop trying to fix everything and let's fix maybe the top 3 things, or at least speak about when you start speaking to your niche and to your clients, your ideal client at the middle funnel, bottom funnel. Let's start speaking to specific problems that are major problems that you can solve in the marketplace. Whether it's gut health, I don't know if gut health is one of them. Let's talk, Jeff and Francis, let's talk about that. Is gut health one of them? Is weight loss? Oh, the symptoms of weight loss, the problems of weight loss? Is hormone replacement therapy one of the things that you guys are specialized in that can help people with? I think that now we need to start talking to people to draw them in and speaking very clear of what that is. And I know that you guys can solve a lot of problems, but what if you just started with 1 to 3 problems max? And so, and position your brand, your product as that. So you want to unmute yourselves, we can talk about that before I get into the chain.
Oh, sure. Actually, Jeff, did you want to talk about it? Hormone, it's really interesting how it's being mismanaged for everyone. Because technically, in a perfect world, believe it or not, most women were at our prime hormonally at age 21, and for men at
Hmm.
age 26. So if you start early enough, what you do is in a perfect world, you go in and get your hormones measured right at your prime, and then you have your perfect blueprint for each individual. Because say Donna's hormones at age 21 is not going to be the same as for me at age 21, and every woman's going to be different. And the problem that our society, the way we practice medicine, is that anytime a woman approaches their reproductive age and then they become sexually active, then everybody slap them a little BPC pill like packet, and then everybody takes the same amount of hormones regardless. And that's really wrong. But that's the cheapest way to take care of women. We don't measure anything and just give them a dosage that's going to work on everybody. It's number one. And then number two, they're giving us women a lot of times the hormones. They're like made from horse urine. They're not even from humans. So why are they giving it to us? And women have been accepting the standard for centuries, forever.
Yeah.
We're not being treated properly. That's number
Why
one.
that yeah, that's why you and Jeff have so much value in the marketplace, and now you're already in the marketplace traditional medicine, just like what you guys have been. But as you guys enter the marketplace with a different positioning now, with a different positioning and brand and fees and all of those things, we have to niche down your message, the person you're messaging, and the problem that you solve. And
Uh-huh.
just like a little bit of our conversation yesterday, it right now it doesn't match. You have this expertise that you've been in this space for such a long time. You have this amazing track record, but yet your pricing doesn't match your track record, right?
No, it doesn't. And then the problem is that we
Yeah.
can fix everything under the sun. So we don't really have
Yeah.
a niche
Correct.
because,
Correct.
a lot of people, they're seen as, oh, they're the hormone expert or
Sure.
they're
Sure.
the weight loss expert because
Yep.
that's all
Yep.
they know. The
Yep.
problem is we know everything. So we could talk
Yep.
about everything. And then I think
Correct.
maybe we need to do some beta testing and see which niche is going to be the best performing for us and which one resonates the most for us with our audience. But back to
Yeah.
the hormones. So for men, at age 26 is for men, it's their prime. So again, the easiest thing to do is to just take a baseline, just like women do mammograms at age 40 or
Mhm.
whatever. We should really be doing like a hormonal baseline at age 21 or 26, depending on if they're men or women. And once you have that perfect blueprint, you
Yeah.
have the perfect blueprint for that individual. And technically, you could just maintain them at their prime indefinitely. So my son is
Yeah. So
24.
again, as you guys like, this is what I'm talking about, Francis. You and Jeff, you guys, without a doubt, you are experts. Without a doubt. The problem is you're speaking very broad,
Yes.
which you should. At your top of funnel, you should speak very broad because you guys are experts in a lot of things. That's how you build an audience. You speak broad at the top. What you guys have been doing is you're speaking broad also at the bottom. That's your problem.
Oh,
This is making sense. You're speaking broad at the top and you're speaking broad at the bottom. So nobody really understands that you can actually help them. So we need to speak broad at the top to build your audience. And then you got to speak much more narrower in the middle of the funnel to a niche of potential clients. They're not potential clients yet. Middle funnel is not clients yet. They're just potential clients. And then your bottom of funnel, that's when you speak direct. So you speak broad, you speak narrow, and then you speak direct, right? That's what we're going to talk about the message. And all of you guys will get this today. We're going to talk about broad speaking, narrow speaking, and direct speaking. Okay. What I want you to do after this call, I want you and Jeff to really sit down and say, okay, all of you guys will do this. You're going to walk away from this training today and you're going to sit down and communicate with each other and say, you know what? Let's communicate with each other so that we can communicate to the outside world. What does broad speaking look like? What topics are we going to talk about at the broad level? Okay, at the broad level. And then when we start recording our VSL and writing our book and creating our lead magnets, how do we speak narrow? How do you speak narrow to potential clients? And then at the bottom of funnel, when we're actually making our offer or inviting them to purchase our a ticket to our movie, purchase our challenge, purchase our webinar, masterclass, how do we speak direct to them? What are the one, two, or three things that we are in charge of, that we're positioning ourselves as these, you come to us only for this. So for example, Russell's would be something like, you come to me, right at the bottom of funnel is you come to me for funnels, sales funnels. You come to me for automation. You come to me for creating your offer. That's he speaks directly. His narrow would be something like where he talks about websites versus funnels. He talks about people who create offers the wrong way, or he talks about selling, how to sell, how to market. That's narrow speaking. And then top of funnel, broad speaking, he speaks a lot to their how they feel about self-doubt. He talks about fear. He talks about people having knowledge but never turn it into anything, an offer or anything useful. Or he talks about people who go on a journey that are drifting through life instead of turning their dreams into reality. So he speaks very broad. Does that make sense? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. And when you guys leave this call, I really want you to sit down and talk about what does broad speaking look like? What is narrow speaking? What is direct speaking? And then, yes, I want to schedule a separate one-on-one time with every single one of you guys to really hammer out what all three of these communication styles that you're going to speak to your clients about and really figure out what is it that you really truly do and how you're going to do it. And what is it that you really sell them so that we can be very clear. Yeah. Okay. So that's part of the trade chain. Okay. Yeah. So it is amazing. The relationship is definitely a great event. And that's why he only does it for Platt. He does it every other year. So next year will be, he called it happiness. Now it used to be spiritual. And then the following year, it's relationship and alternates them every other year. So yeah, pretty cool. Yes. How are you? Okay. Let's jump into just real quick, celebrate some wins first. And then we'll get into the topic. Anybody want to celebrate your wins? Anything that has made your business progress towards business ownership, towards the freedom that you want, the results that you want, and anything that kind of, contaminated that we can identify. Want to go first? Anybody want to share? No? All right. Okay. Let me get into the topic then. Let me get into the topic for you guys, and we'll open up for some questions afterwards. Okay. So the quantity of your content equals the quantity of your conversions. And the volume is very important in terms of creating content, volume. But what's vital is the value, not just the volume, not just the velocity of creating more content, but the value of your content. If you confuse, you lose. If in the marketplace, if you really look at it, people don't buy superior products, they buy products they understand. So what I want to walk you guys through today is how to really go from having communication or content, your message that it's cute, to go from cute to clear so that you guys can convert more. So today we're going to talk about the quality of your content, which is the value, and then also the quantity, which is the volume, the velocity in which you create content. So three parts, three stages of your business. You got top of funnel, bottom of middle funnel, and then bottom of funnel. That's it. Simple. Top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. Top of funnel, what I want to walk you guys through today is speaking broad, speaking very broad, because when you speak broad at your top of funnel, you're building an audience. That's what you're doing. You're building awareness. You're building an audience. Okay. And then your middle funnel, you want to speak more narrow. You want to speak to your niche, not just an audience. Just you're speaking to a marketplace, a niche, a potential client. They're not clients yet. They're just potential clients. So you want to speak narrow. And then at your bottom of funnel, you want to speak direct. You want to speak direct. And this is, you're now not just speaking to an audience. You're not just speaking to a niche now. You're speaking to the person. You're speaking to the person that you are called to serve, the person that you can actually help. Okay. So that's why you want to speak direct. And today, if you walking through this journey, your top of funnel is you enter and you get discovered awareness. When people discover you, people see you for the first time, you want to enter, you want to create message and messaging from the space of being the messenger. The messenger. That's your top of funnel. You're the messenger. You're entering their world. They are either problem aware, they know that they have a problem, and they haven't gotten on their journey of looking for a solution or looking for even a person yet to help, a guide yet. They're not. They just know they have a problem. So you enter, you create content so that you can get discovered. That's the key. And when they discover you, for them to consume or for them to listen to you at this point in time, they don't really care about what they really care about more is you. Who's this person? That's why you want to enter their world as a messenger, as a guide. So how do you create content that positions you as the guide, not the hero? How do you position your content as, oh, this messenger is here. I don't know who they are. I've never seen them before. I've never heard from them before, but here they are. They're right in front of me. They're right in front of me. I see their ad, or I see them on YouTube, or I hear their podcast, or see their content on their socials. Some friends shared this with me, or I happen to run into I like their title, their thumbnail, but I don't know what they know. I just first need to discover who is this person. So you enter their world in creating content as a messenger. And how do you do that? 3 steps. I think that what makes you relatable is that you used to live in this ordinary world as well. And the three steps that makes you relatable as a guide, as a messenger, is the pain, the pain or the problem that you, the challenge, what something thrusted you out of your ordinary world, something pushed you into your hero's journey. So you share this pain of what happened, just like me. For 13 years, I built this amazing life, that life of business, money, building wealth for my family, stepping to that role that a wealthy family must come for me because I did not come from a wealthy family. And then I'm living in my ordinary world. And then 2018, I start having a difficult life because I had this massive challenge, this massive problem that now has entered my world. I'm losing money for the first time. I'm losing not only just the money that I am making or not making enough money to cover my losses, but I'm losing the wealth that I built accumulated over the 13 years. So this pain thrusts me into out of my ordinary world. End of 2018, I lose $5 million. 2019 became a huge discovery year for me. So I'm going on my own hero's journey. So I share that. I share this pain that thrusted me out of my comfort zone, right? Out of change. It's totally rocked my world and changed my world for me to go on this journey to the pain of that. And then realizing that not only did it disrupt my own purpose in life, which is a wealthy family comes from me, it thrusted me into this world that now it's become my personal calling to help other people do the same. Why? Because as I transitioned from 2018 to 2020, right, into the online world, because I was like, I lost all this money. I need to make this money back fast. And the best way I can do that is through this online vehicle, because I see all these people around me. They're successful online. They're making good money. They're also doing it in a very impactful way. So I wanted to be them. So I saw that mirror of what I wanted to be. So I stepped into this role, and then I was stuck. I didn't know how. I didn't sell anything for literally almost 2 years. So I was like, man, going on my own journey from going from pain that took me out of this ordinary world, and the path that I actually took, investing in myself, even though it was a tough decision to do because I had just lost this money to pay for somebody's coaching. At that time, Russell Brunsford for $25,000. So I shared this path, this journey, right? My journey of self-discovery of, man, I shouldn't do this by myself. I need to change. I was damaged as well, broken. I need to give myself permission to be successful again. I need a different peer group, sharing my own journey, my own path of what got me out of that pain to move back towards pleasure. So I share my pain of what thrusted me out of my ordinary world. I share my path, right, of my journey. And then coming out the other side of winning my very first Club Award in 2021, I now have built multiple seven-figure and just hit 8 figures this May. Right now, it's become my purpose, how I made it my purpose but it started from my pain and the path, the journey I took, and then why it's become now my purpose and why I created my offer, why I love doing this, because I want to help people move towards that faster, out of their own tunnel, which is what I learned here when I'm at Relationship with Tony Robbins event this weekend, talking about men and women. They have their own tunnel that they go through, their certain stage of their life, their journey that they go through. And some people, unfortunately, die in the tunnel. They don't ever make it out of the tunnel. And I came out the tunnel. I came out the other side. So I'm like, now this is my calling. I get it. I need to help people get out of their own tunnel, whatever problems that they have or whatever dream that they never stepped into. And they're in the tunnel. I need to help them get out of that tunnel so that they can move on to the last stage of their life, which is either being the king or the queen of their life, of their kingdom, step into that role. So it made it my purpose. So that's how you step into, when you're creating content, you enter their world. When they discover you for the first time, they're going to look at you, who you are, not what you do or what you know, who you have become, your everything about you, your essence. As one of my mentors, Myron Golden, talks about, like when you show up in their life, when they discover you, what is your essence? What's your authenticity? The Top of Fun is all about marketing. It's all about creating content so that you're seen, right? So they're seen, so that people discover you, that they're aware that you exist. But how do you show up? And I think that, just like I've expressed before, marketing is not about getting attention. The old currency, definitely that is all about getting attention. But I think that the new form of marketing, the new currency in today's day and age is about demonstrating authenticity. So how you show up in their life when they discover you is so vital. And that's how I show up in a lot of my content, the pain, the path, the purpose. That's how I basically create content, broad content at the top of funnel. Okay. So, because when you create broad content top of funnel and you share in that type of a framework, the problems that you went through, the path and your own journey, and then your purpose, why you created your offer, why you're here, why you create your brand, you launch your YouTube channel, why you're creating you're on your podcast, all of that stuff gets people to relate to you. Oh, this might be the messenger that I should continue following. And potentially they may be the people that can help me. That's it. So you enter their world when you create content as a messenger. So it's your top of funnel. Your middle funnel, which is now you're speaking more narrow. You're speaking to a marketplace, a niche. You're not just speaking to an audience anymore. You're speaking to a niche that can potentially be your client, their prospects, their potential. They're not clients yet. And this is where after traffic, after your trailer is your teaser. And your teaser this is where you take them behind the scenes. This is the book that you write. This is your VSL. This is your lead magnets. This is your mini courses. This is your mini trainings, maybe even a mini live training if you want to do, whether it's your teaser is free, whether it's a low ticket. This is where you're speaking more narrow to a niche. So this is where we talk about you are now speaking your message, right? Now you're creating content around your message, okay? And my team, Cyra's going to share with you guys a document here. I'll share my screen, but making sure that your message is clear. And this document will help you clarify your message. Now, in terms of creating content, this is all centered on your message. And I'm sharing with you a new offer, a new product that we're launching, product that we sold, we tested it. We've got 6 clients to purchase it. It's our $50,000 offer. And me and my wife, Phyllis, have realized that at the beginning of this year, it took us basically almost a year now to launch this offer. But we're launching it because we realized that since we're talking about marketing, authenticity is new currency. We had a self-discovery this year saying, how do we stay aligned with our authenticity? What do we do? How do we share ourselves to earn trust in a world that doesn't trust? How do we share ourselves as we share what we do and who we are? So we said, you know what, let's really share our journey in the last 5 years, ever since COVID. Let's really share with people who we are, what we do, why we're there, where we go. We have so much to share. We have transformed our life. We have dug ourselves out of this big, deep hole that we got ourselves in back in 2018. How did we do that? So that's how we came up with our 3 steps, our clarity of, man, we built this amazing dream life. We live our dream life. And then and then the second step was we love our dream business. We built this business that we love. And in order for us to live the way we are and run our business the way we're running, we were able to leverage our dream team. So in order for us to get that clarity though, even for us, before we take it out to the marketplace, we sat down and created some clarity around our message that you guys can use as an example. So I call it the Dream Life, Dream Business Manifesto. And obviously it starts with the hero. So I said, who's our hero? Who's our ideal client? Who's the person? If I'm making an offer to this person, who are they? Because they are the hero. We're the guides. So we gave them just a few examples. The hero, find out who's your hero. Give them a name. So for us, in this case, it's the overwhelmed achiever. We gave them an alias, which is the exhausted freedom chaser. We spoke to them too. We spoke to what's their core message? What is generally their own self-talk or their story? What's the overall core message that they speak to themselves about? And what is it? Because their core message creates their beliefs. Their core beliefs creates their core message. And the core message has always been, if I just work a little harder, I'll finally have the freedom I've been chasing. That was not, right? We're speaking to our old self, right? What is it? What is the overwhelmed achiever? The overwhelmed achiever is a high-performing entrepreneur who did everything right. They worked hard, followed the rules, built success brick by brick, but now they're drowning in their own creation, which is what we did. What it does, the overwhelmed achiever is caught in a cycle of doing everything themselves, which was us as well. So we're speaking Oh, and then what's the truth? What's the truth? Freedom doesn't come from doing more, it comes from letting go. So we created our messaging around the hero that we're speaking to. And then the villain. Who's the villain? The villain in our case is the old conditioning. The alias is the hard work hero myth. And the core message is that if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. And what is it? What is the old conditioning? The old conditioning is the invisible programming that convinces people that control equals success and effort equals worth. What it does, what the old conditioning do, it whispers lies to us. No one can do it as well as you. Delegation is risky. Don't mess it up. All of these things. What's the truth? We spoke to the truth as well. And then we talked about the external problems of our clients, all the external problems. And then we went from external problems to the internal problems. What's the conflict inside now that they're dealing with? What's the internal problems that they have? And then based on those external and internal problems, what's their emotional conflicts internally that they're going through? How do they feel? And then what's the defining moment? This emotion, there's an emotional point, a breaking point that says enough is enough, right? Enough is enough. I need to I'm thrusted out of this ordinary world to go on my hero's journey. And then what's their hero's journey look like? If they're going through this using Joseph Campbell's work of the hero's journey, what was their ordinary world look like? What's their call to adventure? What happened? What thrusted them to go? What's their external, internal problems and emotional conflicts internally that initially caused them to refuse the call? Meeting the mentor, what's that like? What's their world looking like when they're going out seeking and trying to discover who the mentor is that can help them? Or even if there is a mentor, crossing the threshold. What's the threshold of control? And then what were the tests they're going to run to? Their allies, the enemies, of approach of their inmost cave. This is their biggest or the transition that they're going through, what they're preparing for, the ordeal, the toughest challenge. This is their breaking point, the moment, everything that their own negative self-talk. This is what's happening. Then the victory, the reward. What's the reward look like? They slayed their dragons. They did that crane kick Daniel did to Johnny, and then the roadblocks. What was going on there? And then the resurrection, who they become along the way. And as they're returning with the elixir, they're returning with the solution. So what is your ideal client's hero's journey? And then the guide. Then you close out with the guide. Who are you're entering their world as the guide. So describe who you are. And then you can go right into I highly recommend going into this work that was done by Lee Albuquerque called the 16-word sales letter. Then you take all that information, all of that, your overall message, and then give your ChatGPT or your personal ChatGPT some prompts, and then create a core belief from that. So, like our core belief is a delegation, and through delegation and automation, are the only way that they're ever going to be able to live their dream life and have their dream business. Only through delegation, automation. Our core belief was always been virtual assistants. What do you do? Oh, we help people hire virtual assistants. That was it. But our core belief has changed because of this. I'm like, oh my God, it's not just the VA is the vehicle. The vehicle is the process. It's the piece that makes it move. But really, our whole overall core belief is we are experts and we specialize in delegation and automation. And us being able to do that has allowed us to live the way we live now and love the business that we love now because we're able to leverage people so that we can delegate things to them and we automate our business. So that was we kicked off our whole core belief and then asking the 10 questions in the 16-word sales letter. How is this Dream Life, Dream Business Challenge? How is this different from anything that's out there? Because most things out there are teaching people what to do versus us, the Dream Life, Dream Business teaching people, how to do it and who to do it, right? What's in it for me? Asking that your audience, they're reading, like, what's in this for me if I go to this challenge, for example? How do I know this is real? And we're sharing them our examples and how we help other people, how we have placed over 3,000 VAs, how we have almost 400 VAs internally that work for us, how we in Phyllis have over 52 VAs that work for us in our own companies. So how do we know it's real? What's holding them back? It's the old conditioning, things like that. Who or what is to blame? Again, society, the educational system, our parents, people who told us that we have to do everything ourselves. Why now? Because the time is now, because the clock isn't stopping. Time does not stop. Why should they trust us? We should walk through our journey of our own success. We're living our dream life, loving our dream business. and our accolades and all that stuff and how they do work. So you tell them what to do and how they can get started with you. And then the most important, I think, question out of this whole message to get clarified is what do they lose? What do they lose if they don't take action? If they don't come to the challenge, if they don't purchase your master class, or they don't buy a ticket to your challenge, things like that. So that's how you speak more narrow to your niche. Okay. That's how you speak more narrow to your niche. And then the bottom of funnel, which is now you're speaking to the person. You're speaking to the person. This is where you want to speak more direct, speaking more direct. And how do you speak more direct? The problem. People wake up every day. They do not think, I need to go out and buy something today. Nobody just wakes up thinking they're going to go out and buy something today. I'm going to go shopping today. No, that's not how that's not how we work. People go shopping because they wake up, they look to the right of them or left of them, and there's nobody in the bed with them. They're lonely. They get out of bed and thinking, I'm going to go shopping today. I'm going to go buy a shirt. Why? Because I have a loneliness problem. That's why people buy, because of the problem. You wake up, you walk to the kitchen, you open the fridge. There's nothing in there that you have to eat or don't want to eat. And you say, I'm going to grab my keys. I'm going to put my shoes on, my light sweater on if it's cold. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive here, or I'm going to get on an app and order Uber Eats. Why? Because you're solving a hunger problem. People will only buy because there's a problem. So when you want to speak direct to your ideal client and you want them to become your client, you want to move them from middle funnel potential client to becoming a client, you have to speak to the problem. You have to speak to the pain that they're dealing with, the problem that's causing that, and how they feel. Second is you got to speak to the payoff. If you truly can help people get results, speak to that. And that's why it's so important to choose the thing that you have the most certainty and the most confidence in. So I have the most confidence in that if people said yes to me and came to my Gym Life Gym Business Challenge, they will be able to design and decide what their dream life is and be able to live it and build a business that they'll love and be able to put things in place, processes, people in place so that they can leverage a team without a doubt. I have absolute certainty of that and confidence of that. When people purchase my coaching program here, I have absolute confidence that I can share strategies and tactics and information that people can implement, execute, that they can build 100K months business if they implement it, if they execute it, without a doubt. So you got to speak to the payoff that you can actually truly help people achieve. And then the third, speaking directly to your audience, then you should speak to the person that you want to sell, the person that you are making an offer to, the person that should buy your offer or should do the thing, or the person that should take action. And don't be afraid to speak to the person who's not as well. So when we speak direct to a person, also speak to the person that you want to do something, that want to buy something, that you want them to take action. But don't be afraid also to share the person who's not, right? So that it's clear who should be moving, ascending with you and who should not. Okay. So content is so vital to, this is the life, this is the bloodline of your business, is traffic. Traffic, in using as a movie example, is your trailer. That's how people discover when movies are coming out, is because there's a trailer. Oh, there's a trailer on YouTube or trailer somewhere that I see, right? On a billboard. Oh, there's a movie's coming out. There's a trailer. And that's traffic. And so at your top of funnel, speak broad. That's how you build your audience. And then your middle funnel, where you speak narrower, this is your teaser. This is your behind the scenes. This is sharing with people how you've made the movie, who's the stars, who's the cast, all of those things, all the interviews, all the podcasting, all the tours that you're doing, that's your teasers. And then your bottom of funnel, that's your movie. That's a movie ticket that you're selling to your movie. And you want to speak directly to the person. Okay. So again, guys, follow this. When you enter their world at the top of funnel, you enter as the messenger. Middle funnel, you create content according to your message. Follow the document that our team's giving you there. And then your bottom of funnel, then you want to speak to the message. the message and the person that you're called to serve. Like I said, don't be afraid to speak to the person who's not as well. And if you do this, you will increase the quantity of your content, which then will increase your quantity of your conversion. Volume matters, velocity matters, but at the same time, you'll also increase the quality, which is the value of your content. And if you do this, without a doubt, conversions will increase.
Please, I think I got a question.
Yes. You have a question?
Yes. I'm looking forward. Could you get down to the super practical? Apply this because I get the concept for sure. I've heard the hero's journey a lot,
Sure.
but to get it more 1, 2, 3 step
Yeah.
would be really helpful.
Yeah. So let's go top of funnel. Like we just talked about one platform. Let's just talk YouTube. Let's start there. And what do we mean by speaking more broad, like in your space? Let's just throw some examples around here. When you're speaking broad, if you talk about message, you guys have seen me share message market fit with you guys before. Yeah. Message market fit, where there's like, if you just speak consistently, you speak to the problems. For example, you're speaking to the problem. If you consistently always speak about the problem at your top of funnel, then every single one of your pieces of your content is talking about, let's say, the problem that you speak about. Let's assume that you're Rebecca, you're always talking about people who are dealing with self-doubt, for example. And you're just talking about that one problem. You have 100 of your ideal clients in a room with you, you might only get 10 or 15, 20% of the attention because that's the only problem that they have. But then you start creating content that speaks to, let's say, fear or just an emotion instead of a problem. An emotion, just feel sad. You just somehow all of a sudden throughout the day, several times a day, you just feel like you're sad. What is going on? Why do I feel sad? And you're talking about emotions instead of just the actual problem that might get another 10, 15% of the attention. Let's say one of the topics you talk about is maybe more skill related. Hey, are you dealing with like procrastination? You're like, you want to do something, you know, you should do it. You know, you want to do it. And you know that it's going to be really good for your life, for your relationship, for your health if you actually do it. But you just don't do it. You want to know why? And you're talking about giving them 3 skills that they can do to crush procrastination. And that might get 20%. That makes sense? So you're talking more broad at top of funnel, more broad. You're building an audience. And then when you go down to the middle funnel, when you're starting to niche down, like in my case would be, I start talking more in terms of like, when I talk top of funnel, I'm talking things like fear, self-doubt. I'm talking about dreamers and doers. I'm talking about my dad who, one of my shorts, I talked about how my parents made $2.4 million. And I was like, $2.4 million is a lot of money until it's not. And the only reason why it's not is because it took them 69 years to make that, right? My dad worked for his company for 36 years. My mom worked for her company for 33 years. So I learned something, a very valuable lesson. It's not the amount of money that you make, it's the speed in which you make it. For example, that's broad. So it gets people's attention. I'm building an audience. But then when I start niching down, when I'm creating my VSLs, creating my book, creating my lead magnets, then I'm talking more niche. I'm talking more, hey, if you are a dreamer and you want to transition from a dreamer to a doer, here are 3 steps. First, make a decision. Make a decision. What is it that you want to sell? Things that are already within you, your expertise, things you've lived, things you've experienced, things that you love. You turn that to an offer. So you decide what to sell. Second is decide who to sell to. Who's your person that you want to speak to? And then third is decide where you're going to make the offer. Are you going to make an offer during a challenge, a webinar? Are you going to automate it? So 3 very simple steps. Now I'm talking about very niche. Make sense? It's actually middle funnel. And that type of content is all in my book, my VSL. Oh, by the way, this Friday, my book will be done. You guys are going to get the very first digital copy of the book. And then when I get it printed, I'll sign it. I'll ship it to you. You guys will get the very first initial number them as well. So you guys will get the very first one. It's an amazing book. I will tell you this right now. If it does not become a New York Times bestseller, I will be very surprised. Okay. It's a great book. So your middle funnel, so I'm talking more of that. And then your bottom of funnel is that then you speak more direct. You're speaking to the person and you're speaking to the 3 to 5 things really, when you're talking about speaking direct, let's not exceed 5 major things that you're really an expert in. I know that I help people craft offers. I know that's my thing. That's my jam. So I'm speaking. If you want to create an offer, either you have something that's getting in the way of maybe self-doubt of you, should I, I'm talking to this lady. I'm like, it blows my mind. She's got 40 years, just like Francis and Jeff, 40 years of experience in her space. And she has so much self-doubt and so much self-negative talk and self-worth about creating her offer to sell in the marketplace in a space that she can dominate very easily. So maybe there's a self-doubt issue there. Second is maybe they don't know how to create offers like her. Legit, she doesn't know how to create offers. I don't know, what should I charge? What's in it? All that stuff. And then third is, second thing that I really help people with is pushing people to decide on where they're going to make the offer and literally saying, why are you not making more offers? How many people did you get in front of this week? What are you doing? If you're not in front of people talking, having meaningful conversations, making offers, what are you doing? So that's really the second. I help people create offers. I help people decide, make a decision of where to make their offer. The third things I help people with is really getting their own way in terms of charging, especially charging more, charging more. I'm on a call yesterday with Jeff and Francis, very short call, but I'm like, what are you guys doing? Stop. Like, you have 60 some years of experience, expertise in your space. Stop giving stuff for free. They're still stuck in that whole, they came to call talking about traffic. I'm like, okay, but where are you sending traffic to? And they're talking about, people are not registering for our webinar. And I said, I'll tell you right now, there's no alignment. You guys you're telling people how amazing you guys are, how much of an expert you are out there. You have 60 some years of, I don't even know if you're telling people that you have 60 some years of expertise. I haven't looked at your message, and I didn't. They didn't have time to look at with them. But if you guys are really like that amazing, and then you're like, yep, but here's this thing for free. There's no alignment. If you're there, you have this brand, this powerful brand. Yeah. So if you have this problem, I can solve it. We have years of experience doing it. Here's the price for it. Make people pay to get in front of you. It just doesn't make sense. The brand and the value just doesn't match. Some people are just like, but why are you doing it for free then? You know what I mean? But why aren't you charging me? I don't get it. You guys are just amazing. Why are you not charging me? Why are you doing it for free? I help people with that type of stuff. And I help people create content, their marketing, and then selling. That's pretty much the 5 top things that I help people achieve. So that when you're talking about speaking to people more direct, you speak to the 3 to 5 things that you're really good at. You know what I mean? That's it. That's your bottom of the funnel. And then if they don't have those problems and they don't want those solutions and, they're not in alignment with your offer, that's why they don't buy it. That's okay. And you're just finding people who are saying, yeah, I do have self-doubt. I don't know how to create my offer. I definitely don't know how to sell this. I don't know how to market this, how to make my offer. How do I run a webinar? How do I run a challenge? Yeah, I don't know how to launch my YouTube channel and create content, the frameworks and all of that stuff. What should I speak about? That's my thing. And then obviously messaging. So 3 to 5 things when you're speaking more direct at the bottom of the funnel. Yeah, that help?
Yeah. So one follow-up question. So I understand
Yeah.
top of funnel is like social media blasts. Are those like the VSLs, the book, the lead magnets?
Yeah.
So bottom funnel, what is that?
And don't be afraid to sell in your middle funnel already. Okay? Do not be like having free lead magnets, stuff like that out there is cool only so your traffic. So if you look at, we'll just follow the movie analogy. When you see a trailer is not designed to sell you. Do you guys agree? A trailer is designed to discover that a movie's coming out. Does that make sense? A trailer doesn't tell you a movie ticket. It's getting you to discover that a movie is coming out. Huh, it's amazing. So that's traffic. Leads, the teaser is designed to sell you something. The teaser is the behind the scenes, knowing the cast, how they shoot the video. And at the end of it, it's generally buy your tickets now, pre-order your tickets. Like that, those are things that's a teaser. And then your movie, which is your bottom of funnel, is your actual movie ticket that you make an offer to sell people. So your middle of funnel stuff that you create, that you were speaking more to your niche, like my book, for example, just run the play when people, for the first 30 days, I'm going to leave it as a digital version for free, as a lead magnet. But when you get it, when you're reading it, it's selling you something. It's selling you tickets to my immersion or tickets to our Dream Life Dream Business Challenge. That is the thing that's selling. That's a ticket to my movie. Make sense? My 100K immersion is $497. My Dream Life Dream Business is $97 for general admission and $297 for VIP. So it is selling something. People are not just reading the book. It's designed to sell something. So your VSLs, your lead magnets, whatever you put in there is designed to sell something. The lead magnets that I will have for free and that I will always, not always, I will keep for free. I think at least at the very first launch, you launch it for free until it starts getting traction. Once it starts getting traction, like people are downloading it, people are opting in, you're building your list massively, then there's message market fit, and turn that lead magnet into a really low ticket offer, like $7 something. That makes sense. But when you first launch it for free, it's okay, because it helps you build your list. But after it gets some good traction, turn it into a paid offer. $7, $17, $27, something. Because if the marketplace wants it for free, I guarantee you they'll want to also pay for it as well. Make sense? But the only lead magnets I will ever do for free will be like a VSL, like a small mini course that's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, somewhere around there. That's kind of like my teaser movie. But again, even when they come get it for free, it's selling something. It's designed to sell tickets to my movie, designed to sell my 100K immersion or my Dream Life Dream Business Challenge that I'm running this year. And I have I'll shoot a video of my schedule for 2026 for you guys to see, just so you guys can have. I'm gonna walk you guys through my whole 2026 schedule and all my VSLs that I launched at the very beginning. I'm recording several VSL, like a lot of VSL, 15, 20 VSLs that I have scheduled for this. Literally like 5 to 6 of them I'm shooting literally by the end of this year that I will have in the marketplace. And then by the first quarter of next year, before the first quarter, like the first month or two max, I will have 15 to 20 VSLs out there in the marketplace. And they're all on different topics. One of them could be on offers. One of them could be on just traffic. One of them could be on just low ticket, high ticket offers. One of them could be just on messaging. One is on your ideal client. One is on themselves, the mindset. So all those VSLs will be running 24 hours, 7 days a week. They're just running out there, and I'm driving ads to them, or I'm driving traffic to them. I'm doing my podcast, creating content. I'm running ads all to my VSLs, and all my VSLs is what's selling the tickets to my immersion and my Dream Life Dream Business Challenge. I'm not taking traffic to my ticket. I'm taking my traffic, which is my trailer, to my teaser first. My teaser is selling tickets. Does it make sense? And once I have all the VSLs lined, then now I spend all my time on my top of funnel, and I'm just creating broad messaging, bring all my traffic in, and then all my VSLs. So you guys know, you guys will see this soon, probably around January. You're gonna see the launch of this. So all my VSLs will be in its own separate funnels based on its own category of topics that I've recorded. But in January, you're going to see me launch what I call a funnel hub, a marketing hub, where I can then start driving traffic to that hub, because when they go to the hub, they're going to be able to see all my VSLs all in one place. Make sense? They're going to be able to watch all my VSLs all in one place. And all my VSLs are designed to sell the only two things it sells. It's either my 100K immersion or my Dream Life Dream Business Challenge. That's it. And all of that will be all automated. And when they come get me live, when they give access to me live, they're paid clients already. I will not spend time with people live. People will not get access to me live unless they've already become a client. At that point in time, the only reason why they become a client already, the reason why they bought a ticket to the 100K immersion or the Dream Life Dream Business Challenge, because in my free value content I create on my YouTube channel, my VSLs, if they want free stuff, they can have it there. And that I've already helped them. I've already given them value. I've already served them. I've already helped them achieve success in advance. And if they want to enter the room with me, I need them to pay me for that, to be in the room with me. Make sense?
Makes sense. Thanks, Cease.
You are welcome. All right. Anybody have any other questions? Ed, Donna. Yeah.
Congratulations on the book, Cease.
Yeah.
That's something that most people will never do. And thank you for making it easier for us to understand.
Yeah.
I can't remember the lady who said earlier that we've all heard the what to do, but you help us to really be able to feel that it's possible for us, with your examples.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's definitely 100% possible for all of you guys. And please message me. Let's really book a private call. I really want to get really clear of like your bottom of funnel message. What is if you're speaking to the person that you're supposed to speak to, what are you speaking about? What are the 3 to 5 things that you're speaking about? So your takeaway from this call is, what are the 3 to 5 things that you really, if you were speaking to the person in the room and you're going to make the offer to that person, what are the top 3 to 5 things that you really help them achieve? What's the payoff? What's the problem you solve? Okay. And then what I do want to talk to you guys about is bend your middle funnel. What are some of the VSLs that you can generate? What are some of the, what's the book that you want to write that speaks to a niche? They are your ideal clients, but they're just potential clients. And the goal of the VSL or your book is designed to get them to become your client. It's designed to sell that ticket, your movie ticket. So I want to know what type of topics are there. And then the top of funnel is, yeah, what type of topics can we talk about that just build your audience, right? You're creating content, just build a massive audience that not all of them are going to be your clients, but you will at least have a big enough pool, a big enough sample size, law of average, right? Law of large numbers, so that you can make this whole machine work. It's a numbers game. It's 100% a numbers game. You know that better than anything, Ed, right? When you're in sales and multi-level marketing, it's all numbers. It's all it is. Yeah. Okay. So please message me, schedule a call so that I can dive deeper with you guys on more of a personalized level.